Very good morning, dear children. Dear children, we are on Economics Chapter 3, that is Poverty as a Challenge. So, dear children, we are just very close to the completion of chapter, and we have seen different types of poverty. Fine, and what are the causes? Fine. So now we will study the causes in detail. Fine. So, what are the causes of poverty? Children, we have discussed earlier also certain causes of poverty. Fine. But if you talk about our country, there are a lot of causes. Means, if you take the historical reasons. So, children, you have read in class 8th, fine, class 7th also, how the outsiders they came to India and they ruled on us, and before that India was known as a golden sparrow or a golden bird. Fine. So see, the historical reasons is very low level of economic development under the British colonial administration. So you all know this. You have read it in class 8th also, that when India was under the British rule, colonial rule, that time very low level of economic development was taking place in India. All the policies which the colonial government had, now they just destroyed the handicraft, and they discouraged the development of industries like textiles. And you all know that here people were involved, mostly people were involved in these things only. They were busy in doing handicraft work, and even the industries like textiles, they were also discouraged. So how come the people will get money? And children, the low rate of growth, very low rate of growth was there until the 1980s. Fine. So that's the reason. Now this all resulted in the low growth of rate of income. So people, they lost their jobs, they did not get job opportunities, so their growth rate, it was very low for their incomes. And children, there was a very much growth in the population, high growth in the population, and low growth in the income. So that obviously it led to the poverty. The failure took place in the economic growth as well as the population. Fine. So population was not controlled at all. Fine. So that is the reason the people were they were facing the cycle of poverty. Like if a person is there, his son will also be in poverty, and his grandson will also be in poverty. Very few cases were there that in which the people they came out of poverty. Fine. Now children, the green revolution we have discussed in the previous chapter also. The spread of green revolution, it was also restricted to some places, and some places were not involved in it. Fine. So jobs were created in this time in the agricultural sector, but it was limited to some parts of India. And children, the industries, whether they were the public industries, private industries, fine, they were not giving more jobs to people. They were not enough to fulfill the jobs of the people. Fine. Now see, the people, they were having small income. They could not afford expensive housing. They were living in slums, and obviously if their income is low, they have to manage in that less income only. So they were living in unhygienic conditions. Fine. So this led to poverty. Fine. Another feature, if you talk about, is the high poverty rate. It is because of huge income inequalities, because inequalities were there. Fine. Like if you talk about, the unequal distribution of land was there, unequal distribution of resources were there. Fine. Now there were many policies which were there to just bring people out from the poverty, but they were not available to all. Fine. So they were not tackled in a way that it should come out with some fruitful results. Now all the major policies, now there were many policies in which initiatives were taking for the land reforms. Land reforms means the land was distributed among the people, those who were below the poverty line, so that they could work on that land. And obviously, one or the other day they will come out of the poverty. Fine. So this was also restricted to some places. Fine. Now the major, the major initiatives like land reforms, which were aiming at the redistribution of assets in rural areas, they were not implemented properly. The same thing which I repeated just now, that they were not implemented properly. They were not. The government was not working on it in an efficient way. Fine. Then there were lack of land resources. That was also a cause of poverty. Fine. People were not having land. If they would have land, obviously they would have worked hard on that, and they would have come out of the poverty. Fine. The implementation of the policies, they were, if they would have been proper, so they would have been improved the life of million rural poor peoples. Fine. Now children, see, other socio-cultural and economic factors were also responsible for the poverty in India. Fine. Like a person has to fulfill so many social religious ceremonies. Fine. The social obligations, they have to be observed. The religious ceremonies, like if you take an example of death. So a person has to do so many religious ceremonies. So in that also a person requires money. And even if there is a marriage in the house, so a person has to give dowry to his or her daughter. So obviously they are going to be in the vicious circle of poverty, because the income is very low and they had to spend a lot of money on all these ceremonies, traditional things. Fine. Then small farmers, they always required money to buy the agricultural inputs. Whatever inputs they require, seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, they all required money on that. And they were not saving anything. They were just hand to mouth. So how could they afford money? So they were becoming victims of indebtedness. Means they were getting loans and they were not able to repay those loans, and they were in poverty. High level of indebtedness is both the cause and effect of poverty, both the reasons. It's a cause also for poverty and it's a consequence also of poverty. Because how come it's a cause? Indebtedness, you don't have money, you have to get money on loans and all, so that's a cause. Poverty is a cause here. And consequence, how come? Poverty is a consequence because you have to get money, so that's why you are not able to repay it. So you fell into poverty. Fine. So children, the government has taken certain measures, anti-poverty measures. So what were those anti-poverty measures? Now removal of poverty was very much important, and it was the major objective of the Indian government. Indian development strategy is a part. Fine. So if you talk about the anti-poverty strategy of the government, it is based on two planks. Fine. The promotion of economic growth. The first thing, they are going to promote the economic growth, and secondly they are going to target anti-poverty programs. They have to work on some anti-poverty programs. Now if you talk about over the period of 30 years, from if you talk about early 18s, the per capita income growth was very less. Fine. So there was very less reduction in poverty. But if you talk about official poverty estimates, so official poverty were about 45% in the 1950s. and then it remained the same even in the early 80s. Fine. So since early 80s, India's economic growth has been one of the fastest in the world, children. That time, fine, it was very fast. The growth rate was, it was 3.5% a year in 1970s, and then it jumped to 6% in 1980s and 90s. Fine. So the higher the growth rate, it is going to reduce the poverty on a fast level. So therefore it was very much important that there should be some economic there is a very close link between the economic growth and poverty reduction. They both are interlinked. Fine. Now economic growth, what is it going to help in? Economic growth is going to widen the opportunities. Fine. It is going to provide the resources to the people. It is going to help in human development. Fine. And it is also going to encourage people to send their children to school, their girls to school, and because they are going to school, they were sending it in the hope that their children are going to get a better future. Fine. With the help of education, poor were not able to get direct advantage of all these processes. So for them, there was a requirement of some programs to be launched. Fine. So for that cases, in that circumstances, when one is not able to get the fruits, fine, so now for them, especially for those vulnerable groups, they have to formulate some programs. So first one is, it is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005, which aim to provide 100 days of wage employment to every household to ensure livelihood security in the rural area. So this also helped in a lot. Then next was Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, PMRY. So it was also another scheme. It started in 1993, and what was the aim? To create self-employment opportunities for educated unemployed youth in the rural areas and small towns. Fine. And after that, the next was Rural Employment Generation Program, REGP, launched in 1995. It created self-employment opportunities in the rural areas and the small towns. Fine. Swaran Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana, SGSY, launched in 1999, and it aimed at bringing assistance, helping the poor families above the poverty line by organizing them into self-help groups through a bank credit. Fine. They were getting government subsidies. Fine. Then Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, PMGY, launched in 2000. Fine. It was helping the states. They were giving the states the basic services like primary health, primary education, rural shelter, rural drinking water, rural electrification. And then was Antyodaya Anna Yojana, AAY. So this was also a scheme so that the people should come out of poverty. So all these programs, their results was mixed. Fine. Now they were less effective because of the lack of proper implementation. Fine. And they should be targeted right. So children, moreover, there has been a lot of overlapping of schemes. You might have seen in these schemes only, they were just the overlapping of one upon another. So the benefits of the schemes were not fully reached to the deserving poor. So therefore the major emphasis in the recent years is on proper monitoring of all the poverty alleviation programs. So the government is paying attention on that. Fine. That whatever program they are starting, they should be implementing it correctly. But still children, there are challenges ahead. Poverty is declining in India, but despite the progress, the reduction remains India the most compelling challenge. Fine. So this reduction is a challenge for us because it's a diverse country. Fine, poverty is visible here. Still you can see poverty in the rural and the urban areas. So it is, there are some social economic groups which are really vulnerable to poverty. So we have to make sure, we have to take all the possible measures so that the higher economic growth should be there. Fine. So universal free elementary education should be there. Fine. Decline in population is very much required. See, population is increasing day by day. Women empowerment, that's also a cause of concern. Economically weaker sections, they are also very prone to find the poverty. So we have to take care of all these sections, all these vulnerable groups. Fine. The definition of poverty, we have seen it at many times in this chapter. See, it is about the minimum subsistence level rather than a reasonable level of living. So many scholars, they have advocated that most broaden the concept into human poverty. There are many concepts of poverty. So still poverty is a big challenge for a developing country like India. So we have to tackle it in a way so that we can earn some fruitful results. Fine. Children, this was all about the topic. Thank you and have a nice day.